Do you remember those 51 former intelligence operatives that signed a document claiming that the laptop is Russian disinformation, despite all the evidence otherwise? Well, House Judiciary Republicans say those ex-spies need to hand over their proof that it was Russian disinformation. They're going to be waiting a long time, I have a feeling. Or what will happen? They can expect subpoenas next year when Republicans take over. Republican Congressman from Florida is with us. Matt Gaetz is a member of the House Judiciary Committee, and he joins me now. Congressman, great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Grant. And in addition to that demand for oversight and transparency regarding those 51 officials, I've also filed legislation to strip all of them of their security clearances and bar them from future security clearances, given the fact that they used the imprimatur of our government and those clearances that they hold for credibility. And then they violated that credibility by telling lies about this laptop. It's very clear that if you did not have a conspiracy between government officials, big tech, and big media to suppress this information, Joe Biden would not have been sworn in to the White House. And that is the depth and breadth of this scandal. And I think we've got to get to the bottom of how that happened, because you want to talk about threats to democracy. You want to talk about disinformation. It's the power that some of these folks have to work together to keep information away from the voters, from the American people.
Congressman, I'll tell you, I've spent 30 years in media, much of it as an investigative reporter. And I could tell you from the moment I saw the evidence coming out of that laptop that it was real. And all the evidence was that it was real. Now that's been confirmed. I know for a fact those spies knew it was real. At least that's my assessment of things, which then means if that's true, they would have lied, Congressman.
Undeniably. And if that's the case, they shouldn't be able to parade around like they're holding some intense credibility from the United States government. The other thing that you've pointed to is that the Hunter Biden laptop very well may have been a point of vulnerability for the White House, for the Biden administration. It could have been the subject of blackmail efforts or compromise endeavors, which regularly occur in Washington, D.C. I was deeply troubled when I asked the FBI cyber chief where the laptop was, that he couldn't seem to tell us, and that may be indicative of a cover-up that is in progress right now. It's not as if the cover-up is over. They're continuing it, and Ann Applebaum signaled the change of the narrative. You see, now it's not that this is disinformation or a false representation of the evidence. It's that we all shouldn't really care that the son of the then vice president, now president, was actually selling influence for personal gain, for millions of dollars to some of America's greatest adversaries. I think that matters. I mean, if that was a member of the Trump family doing international business deals with the Chinese Communist Party, that would have been grounds for yet another impeachment effort. But here with the Bidens, it's the grounds for yet another cover-up.
Yeah, they wanted Ivana locked up for copyright issues in China. And so imagine if it was Don Jr. for something like Hunter is accused of. Let me play a clip from you. This is Jack Maxey. It's unfortunate that we have to have civilians doing the work that the Justice Department should do. This is the guy that handed over the laptop to the FBI. He's downloaded and given it to congressmen and women. He's given it to media outlets. He's also doing a forensic deep dive. He says he's got 450 gigabytes of erased material on that laptop. He fled to Sweden, fearing for his safety and retaliation for the Biden administration. He appeared on Newsmax today. Watch this.
I feared that my efforts would be interfered with in the United States. I also had experts here that I could rely on that I've worked with in the past. If you don't release enough of this to make them know that you could release the whole thing, which I have at my ability to the present day, and I've not done it, he said, they're going to get you. They're going to kill you. It's a crying shame that I have to leave my own soil to save it. But the American people have been betrayed, and without pointing any fingers, the Fourth Estate dropped their ball on this one.
All right, Congressman Gaetz, he's in Switzerland. He says he's very close to getting all this data back. He's going to release it on an online database. I'll give you the last word on this and him and his claims that he's in danger.
Well, I think about Project Veritas and the FBI raid of James O'Keefe's home when they believed that he might have had Ashley Biden's diary. And in that case, James O'Keefe wasn't even publishing the Ashley Biden diary stories, which would have been very damning to Joe Biden and sort of his bizarre relationship there. But O'Keefe could not verify it, so he did not publish it. And even in that case, you saw an FBI raid, and I think a real troubling violation of the First Amendment. So in Jack Maxey's case, it's entirely reasonable to believe, if he has the intent of publishing this additional information, that he, in fact, could be in some danger. I hope that we get full transparency on this, that we get the full scope of the Biden crime family's activities, and that may explain why the Biden administration takes certain positions that seem to be for the benefit of China, not the United States.
Let me tell you, I can almost guarantee that it's going to explain just that. Congressman Matt Gaetz, I appreciate you trying to get to the bottom of it. Chuck Grassley, Senator Johnson, all of you, I appreciate it. Have yourself a great weekend, sir.
You too, Grant. Take care, man.